And I'll show that really quick too, because I know Lily just mentioned that for stage 1. So for stage 1, I would go in with full-on DPS. And so when I'm saying full DPS, I mean I'm going in with Tifa with every single offensive powerhouse weapon and outfit and everything I can give her. I'm giving her the maximum amount of damage I can. Now we go to sub-equipment, we give her the enemy launcher, which is now going to give her a 26 points in physical ability potency, which is an extra 45% damage, brings her attack up to 8,800. This is before other buffs that we're going to give her from our other allies. Then we're absolutely going to be using Yuffie here. If you do not have Yuffie's Hawkeye at OB6 or higher, you can use Sephiroth here for the folks that are watching that are looking for stage 1. The weapon that you're looking for is called Lyreed. Does physical attack at 120, does physical attack 46 and physical or limit break potency 52. But the big thing, and the reason why it's important, is for this right here. It's attack boost Earth 1. So what this does is it allows you to put an Earth or a Quake Blow materia in that slot, and it's going to get an additional 30% damage, which isn't great. It's not going to put it in the range of like Hawkeye, but it should be fine, right? So it should be fine. If you only have one copy of Hawkeye, this is gonna be okay, right? So if you've got Lyreed at a higher level, at a higher overboost, and you have Sephiroth more built, this is a perfectly fine weapon to use in the meantime, because Sephiroth also has a bunch of supporting weapons, such as Radiant Edge, that does a defense decrease, which is also helpful for this fight, right? Obviously the fire resist down is irrelevant, but having a defense decrease is fine. So that's another option. If you don't have Yuffie available, Sephiroth can be used and can also lower Earth resist, by the way, because he has that Sand Splitter. So yes and no. It depends on where your buff score is, right? Because when I do this auto formation, we're getting an extra 420 nice percent physical ability potency. You're only getting 100% magic, right? So the damage difference between a physical, it's a 300% difference. That's a big difference. To the tune of a OB10 Blue Bramble is probably going to be close to a Quake Blow materia. Got the Kugel Blitz, nice. That's a good pull. But like the physical ability potency is what you want to use this time around, right? This time around. For this boss in particular, we probably will be using magic moving forward, right? Have a good night, Undertaken. Thanks for being here. We probably will be using magic going forward for this fight because this Odin is not resistant to magic defense down. The reason why we're using physical this time is because the guild battle is telling us to. If we ever have to fight this again, where it targets our highest physical attack ally, we're building a magic team with a physical attack support or a physical attack healer, whatever it is. And then the magic's team's gonna rip through this guy. So like the Vincent team is going to rip through this guy. The Sephiroth team is going to rip through this guy. But for the guild battle, this guild battle specifically, we have to use physical. And they did that on purpose because physical is harder to you know, build around, which is a dick move, but here we are. So in terms of the outfit for Yuffie, obviously if you have one, use one. This one gives physical attack and magic defense, that's fine. If you have the Winter Moogle one that gives HP and buff debuff extension, you can do this as well. I'm using Yuffie in this case with her OB6 Hawkeye and her OB10 Arctic Star. And what this does, she's going to be the one that's increasing my team's physical attack by herself. Because what she does is when she increases one ally's physical attack with Arctic Star, she increases her own physical attack by 2 tiers. So she's able to increase the physical attack of Angeal and Tifa, while also increasing her own physical attack at the same time with just 2 casts. Obviously having a 1 cast one is better, but Yuffie and Tifa don't have access to physical defense down. They also don't have access to earth resist down. So I'm focusing on them doing the most possible damage possible, right? Most possible damage possible. Hee. I will give her this D-Brave just because it has the highest physical attack. That's the reason why we're doing it. It's not because it's a D-Brave. We don't really need it for this fight. And now remember that for me personally, Tifa and Yuffie are doing very similar damage, right? Yuffie's doing around 742% with a 20% boost. For folks that, you know, what is that? It's 890 point something. So it's like 900%, 890%, give or take. Tifa's is doing 1060, right? So they're actually pretty close. Like, they're not too bad, right? They're pretty close. So I don't want to take damage away from Yuffie, right? So I want to make sure that we're giving her as much good options as we possibly can. So we're looking for, again, earth potency and physical ability potency. I know this has been all scatterbrained, I'm sorry. So we're already using enemy launcher on Tifa, so we're going to give her automatic. This is going to give her attack, which is different than her physical attack, which is already maxed out at this point, and physical ability potency, which is great. And where is she rocking with earth potency right now? Level 4, okay. So we still got plenty of room. So then earth potency, physical ability potency. We don't need physical attack at this point, right? So we're going to avoid that. Could also just look at Ryzen Otter. Even though it's magic attack, it does give 39 earth potency, as does Holiday Revolver. So at least you're getting the 39 earth potency, which would take her up to the level 6 break, which is a pretty big jump in damage, right? She's going from 4 to 6. Or is it from 3 to 6 even? No, 4 to 6, I was right, yeah. So it's going from 4 to 6, which is pretty good. Outside of that, remember, there are not a lot of great earth options, right? Razor Ring is another good option, gives an extra 24 points. Where would this actually take her? Level 6 break? You know what? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then we're going to give her a physical attack all allies weapon. This is going to increase not only her damage, but Tifa's damage as well. We're just going to give her the next highest thing. Bam, 9,400. Puts Tifa up at 9,600. We're good to go. So then we're going over to Angeal. Angeal is exactly the same as the other build, right? You're going to give him whatever defensive outfit you have available. Say Science Attire. That's the free one that we were able to get in the Final Fantasy VI event. Giving him the Shinra model Greatsword. You're giving him the actual Greatsword. This decreases earth resistance. This decreases defense. If you do not have these weapons at OB6, you can use anybody that has an earth resist down and a physical defense down. You can use, there are only a few options even. Angeal is one. Sephiroth is another. And the last earth resist down character is Vincent, who does not have a physical defense down ability. I think those are the only three that lower earth resistance at this point in the game. So you really only have access to Angeal or Sephiroth. Which is fine, because you likely have a lot of weapons available for Sephiroth, so you could always use Sephiroth instead of Angeal here. Absolutely fine. Blue Bramble at OB0 can still get to high earth resist down, so it's absolutely fine to just use the Blue Bramble instead. Keep pulling Volcanic Key, yeah. I've actually been getting it a lot too, which honestly I'm glad for. I'll be for real. We're gonna give him both of these heals just because, again, they're here, so why not? And then just the next highest physical attack stat stick. Make sure that we give a physical attack all allies, so we want to make sure we're getting a 30-point boost here. I don't think we can get Angeal up to a point where he's going to out. Yeah, we're never going to get him up to a point where he's getting more physical attack than his allies. So the only other option here is that we'll go back and adjust to make sure that Tifa's a little bit lower. And then I don't think even Yuffie would be able to get down too far here, but we'll see. So I will go ahead and take these off and give earth potency again. Because although it doesn't do a lot of damage, this build also doesn't have a healer. So you have to take it a tiny bit easy, right? So what I might do instead is I might just take all of these off, give her all earth potency, which drops her down to 8,400 again. And I think I'm going to do the same to Yuffie. And just give her all earth potency. And then I should be able to get Angeal higher than that. Yeah, perfect. So instead of this physical attack all allies even, I'm going to give him HP here. Just to make sure he stays alive. There's an HP physical defense weapon that we've been getting for free every month. Buster Sword Origin. You can use this. And there you go. So Tifa's damage is a little bit lower, but with all that earth potency, it should be okay. Obviously, we're going to get physical attack increase with our Arctic Star. And so this is what I would look like for a stage 1 mock. So let's run this with the stage 1 mock really quick. I did click mock, right? I did. Okay, great. And now I'm just focused on DPS. Ideally, I don't want to heal here at all. Angeal's Veil and his high physical defense stats should be enough to keep him upright while we focus on pure DPS. Make sure we use Feisty Spirit on Tifa. And then we're going to do a physical defense debuff here. Make sure that we use this again. And as you can see here, Angeal is super fine, right? Barely taking any damage. And now all we have to do is keep an eye on buffs. You can see this is dropping like super fast. Watch his HP just melt away. I actually think one more of these, both of these attacks should be enough. And then one more attack and we're done. That's it. And Angeal didn't even take damage there. So that's what you do with stage 1. Stage 1 is really easy. But yeah, so that's what I would rock for the stage 1 fight. It's very offensive focused. I did give him the most physical attack just to make sure that they were targeting him first. But realistically, even with 7,700 physical attack, which is obviously pretty low, Tifa and Yuffie still cleared this easily. Easily.